In my opinion, the Lakers are the third best team in the NBA. I'm loving the Lakers right now. Do I have them picked to win it all? No, but I do have them top 3.
I think they're like the 5th or 6th best team. That's my opinion. 5th or 6th best team, they typically lose in the second round. The Lakers are a lot further away than what I think we really want to try and give them credit for.
Now, I used to smoke a pack of Black and Milds a day when I was playing. We've been tearing Zion down, right? And rightfully so. Accountability has to be there. Not only is he in physical shape, he has a different mentality now.
If your body fat for your body type is 10% and you're playing at 16%, you're not the best version of yourself, and we can see it in your performance.
The Warriors are all in. I believe that Seth is going to bring something to the table.
And when he's on the floor, you can't leave him open.
They spoke on it. They're telling the world, hey, this is our last run.
Cheers, cheers, cheers. Welcome into this edition. If you're on the audio side, I apologize. Clapping in the mic is probably just as disturbing as eating like we used to on Road Trippin, for those of you who've been kicking it with us since 2017, the inception. I'm Allie Clifton. That's Richard Jefferson. That's Kendrick Perkins. You know what to do on YouTube. You know what to do on the audio side. Go hit the like, subscribe, leave us a rating and review. We love you. Season is here. It is October 1st as we're recording this. How do we feel about it? It's freaking NBA month. The NFL is over in our brain.
Yeah, great. Everybody, my fantasy
month lived for them.
league, we're winning. We're up 3-1 in my league. No big deal. So for me, yeah, I've transitioned completely into basketball mode. So yeah, it's a great football season. See you guys in the playoffs.
Perk?
Well, I'm LaToya Luckett in this situation, torn in between the two. Like, I'm excited, but then I'm thinking about the travel. I'm thinking about the hours. But I'm excited about it. I'm excited about it because it's so many teams got depth, right? So many teams I'm excited to watch, especially in the Western Conference. Like, so I'm excited about the season. Like, I've never been more excited about a season like I am right now at this moment. Like, it's so many contenders out there. So yeah, I'm excited about it. You know what I mean? I'm ready to get rocking and rolling. It's here. So fuck it, we gotta face it.
We need to put that on a t-shirt. Fuck it, we gotta face it.
Yeah. I
like that, Perk. That's a great line. Rich, did you have something to add before we dive in?
Nah, that was well said.
I thought you were gonna challenge me on LaToya Luckett.
No. I got nothing. You know, fuck it, face it. You know, it's true.
Fuck it, face it. Here we go. We're gonna start with the Lakers because I know that's everyone's favorite team. Insert the Kawhi laugh. But there's no Kawhi on this episode for our listeners and our audience.
Great.
I'm sure you're all excited about that. But we will start with the Lakers. There's a lot to discuss here. You got old LeBron. You've got JJ and ChatGPT. And Austin Reeves, All-Star? He has one thought about that. Before we dive in, LeBron, he's the first player in NBA history to play 23 seasons. He'll pass Robert Parrish for most games played in league history this season, for those of you that don't follow along. But he did say this week the end is sooner rather than later. He did sit out of day one. Lakers training camp, dealing with some nerve issue in the gluteal maximus area. And when he was asked about next year from our good friend Geeter, Chris McGee, at the end of Media Day, if we would see him back at Media Day next year. He's our leadoff hitter. He's great. He said maybe. So maybe we start there. What do you think LeBron wants for his ending? Is this the final year? Is it as poetic as it seems, 23 for 23? Give me some enthusiasm.
Come on.
Give me as much enthusiasm as he was cutting Kai Cenat's hair yesterday.
Wait. I did not see that. I when I first saw the headline, I thought they were talking about Bronny James because it's the same age group, but not Bron James. So no, I will say this: Bron is most great players are far more calculated than they ever let on. Right, I look at there are even more NBA records that he's breaking this year, games played, seasons played, all of these things. He's got a good team. His championship, I would say I would put them in the 6th or 7th spot to win a championship, in my opinion, right across the entire league. That's where I would put them. So when I look at that, I'm like, I think they're in a good spot. Now, is LeBron going to do all of those things? He might. There's two sides. Either he's going to disappear quietly or he'll let us know. So if he's not letting us know, you should lean towards the side of he's going to disappear quietly. That's my opinion.
One, Braun does nothing quietly because
that might be the ultimate card flip. That might be the ultimate, like, kind of flip it on its head and catch everybody by surprise. That's the only thing I'm saying. He does surprise people now. He does surprise people.
Well, I will say this. He's happy, which is the great thing. Look, we all know at some point in the next year or two, maybe 3, that he's going to walk away from the game of basketball. Hell, in 5 years, he's going to be eligible for his pension. He should walk away. But this is what I will say. He's happy. And if you're the Lakers organization, the front office, ownership group, Laker fan base, you should also be happy that LeBron James is happy about this season. And he's happy because, one, JJ Redick has a year under his belt. He's on his way back with a hellified coaching staff. Nate McMillan, Scott Brooks, veterans on the bench that didn't coach at the highest level, won at the highest level, coached, future Hall of Famers, etc. On top of that, Luka is in shape, showed his commitment to it, and I believe that LeBron James is happy with the moves that the Lakers, Rob Pelinka, made this offseason. Go and get a Marcus Smart. I understand he played meaningless basketball last year with the Wizards, but he's still in his prime, a guy who 2-3 years is removed from winning Defensive Player of the Year, defensive pest, right? Something that you need at the wing position. Now you got DeAndre Ayton, right? If you could get DeAndre Ayton that we saw during that Phoenix Suns run, when he was bought in, playing with the right type of tenacity and mindset, which I believe he will, okay, now you're in great shape. In my opinion, the Lakers are the 3rd best team in the NBA. All 3 teams that I have that are top 3 are in the Western Conference. OKC, Houston, Lakers. Great depth. Jared Vanderbilt is finally coming back off. He's finally healthy coming into training camp. Remember, he had surgery on both of his ankles or both of his feet. That shit ain't easy to come back from. Austin Reeves, looking for him to have another breakout type season. Hell, he was a certified number 3 option last year. So, far as with me, I'm loving the Lakers right now. Do I have them picked to win it all? No. But I do have them top 3 for as title contenders.
Nothing gets me excited like it's if Perk listening to media day. Yes?
Alec. So if you have him as top 3, look at how his ear's leaning forward. So you say that ideally those are the only 2 teams better than them, right? In the conference. So, ladies and gentlemen, Perk just established that the Lakers he has losing in the second round.
Where was the joke?
Just saying.
Where was the joke?
They're the 3rd best team in the NBA, and Perk has them losing in the second round. So
that would essentially be though.
I agree. That's what I'm saying.
Because then you have the other 2 teams meeting in the conference finals.
No, but I'm saying, is like you can talk about their
where is the joke?
I'm saying that the joke is we're talking about them being the 3rd best team. They're a second round team. So, like, do we really think that they have a chance to win an NBA championship?
It's called, like, your math ain't mathin', Rich.
No. I'm messing. First of all, whoa, everyone, lower it down, Alex. Whoa, lower it down. You raise.
The
joke that I'm trying to make is this: that the Lakers, he's saying the third best team. I think they're like the fifth or sixth best team. That's my opinion, right? Fifth or sixth best team, they typically lose in the second round, right? If you're the third best team in the league, I don't see the Lakers going out in the second round, which I believe that's probably the max that their team can do unless they get really lucky. If they get Oklahoma City, if they get a Houston, even in my opinion, if they get a Denver in the first, second round, they're going to lose. That's what I'm saying. The Lakers are a lot further away than what I think we really want to try and give them credit for. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, that is your opinion. That's not mine. Because I do believe that, like, if they happen to match up and both squads were healthy, I mean, the Rockets would actually have to play some pretty damn good basketball.
Agreed.
We're actually going to take a strong pivot here because it's not on the rundown. But speaking of the Rockets, and this is respect to Fred VanVleet, the champion that he is, does that not, how much weight in losing him? Because you still have him, Perk, at number 2.
Huge weight.
Have them at number 2.
Go ahead, Perk.
Why you say huge, though?
I say huge because I think we look at when Kevin Durant had playmakers, point guards, that's when his teams excelled the most, right? Brooklyn, he had James Harden, one of the ultimate playmakers. Kyrie is a guard, but he's more of a screen. But you had James Harden. When he was in Golden State, you had Draymond, you had Andre, you had the system that they had, right? When you get to Phoenix, and even when he was in Oklahoma City, he had Russell Westbrook that was putting up those numbers as a point guard. So when you look at in Phoenix, they didn't have a point guard and they struggled. I'm not saying that they don't have people that can play. They got Şengün that can play make. But there's something about, we've noticed when Kevin Durant plays with a point guard or in a system that has it, his teams typically excel, right? When they don't, they come back to kind of that medium level for Kevin Durant, respectfully.
I just think you have to, understand the style, like the style of play, which the Rockets, how they play, right? And when you look at their style, they don't have a traditional point guard. They didn't have that last year. Like, they like to get stops, they get out and run, they do a lot of cutting. Anybody could push the ball, right? I think this is a perfect time for Amen Thompson to show what he's capable of doing as far as pushing the pace. He's an underrated playmaker. As you alluded to, Baby Jokic, Alfred Şengün, he pushes the rock. The offenses ran through him a lot from that high post area from the top of the key. So, it's going to be a lot of cutting, a lot of slashing. Mm-hmm. I understand Fred VanVleet did something that's going to be hard to replace, and that's knock down shots. The Rockets were one of the worst. They fucking stink at knocking down shots last year. They was one of the worst three-point shooting teams in the NBA. That's the void, more so than somebody setting the table or managing the game. They're shot making. Can Tari Eason make threes on a consistent basis? Can Amen Thompson shoot threes on a consistent basis, make threes on a consistent basis? Is Reed Shepherd, is he going to be ready for the moment? Because the vibe around H-Town is everybody high on Reed Shepherd right now. Like, they high on him. And he had a pretty good outing down that summer league. But again, that's summer league. You know what I'm saying? Let's see what happens when he get in the real thick of things. But I think he's going to provide that shooting. So, again, we're going to go back to it. It comes down to, are they going to be able to make shots? That's the reason that Golden State got past them in 7 games, was because Fred VanVleet was the only person that was knocking down shots at a high level from the outside.
But Perk, and wait, really quickly, I agree with what you're talking about. They didn't have a traditional point guard. They didn't have enough shooting for them to okay, we're going to go get set up sets. They had to run. They had the defensive pressure, and it was successful because if you made them play in the half court, they struggled. That was what non-shooting does. Now you have Kevin Durant. Now you are okay to play in a half court. Now you don't have to push it and do these crazy things because sometimes you want to get it to your ultra efficient monster and allow him to go get you a 40% 3-point shot, a 50% mid-range. Go get you 2 free throws at 90%. You want to get the ball in his hands. That's where the flow of a point guard then raises. I would look at what Fred and like a Kyle Lowry when he was playing with Pascal, when he was playing with Kawhi Leonard, right? That's what I'm more talking about. I'm not saying that they play. They're going to change their style of play because they have a weapon that allows them to change their style of play.
But realistically, R Jizzle, how many teams actually run sets outside of the Lakers?
It's more of
I'm just saying.
no, you're right. It's more of the organization. It's after timeout. It's making sure that the young players know it ain't people going when they don't need to go. People run sets in the last 3 to 5 minutes of a game. There is a flow, but for the most part, you want to target who you want to target. You want to get the down man in the right spots. You want to get the big in the right spots. That is strategic sets. Now, it might be concepts, but there is still a set involved. That's all I'm saying.
Let's use this rocket to blast off to the next conversation, pun intended. Before we get to JJ and his ChatGPT right-hand man, I want to ask you, Richard, I want you to be my ChatGPT and see if this makes Perk pick up a pipe and smoke it. Who's your top 5 ahead of the Lakers?
Well,
I think they're 6 or 7.
No. I'm saying I would say the top 5 teams. I still like Denver. I like, who they are, what they have. I like Denver. I look at them. They were at Game 7. You had Aaron Gordon banged up, and he took Oklahoma City. They took Oklahoma City right to the end. I put Oklahoma City above them. I would put Houston, although the Van Vliet I think does bring them down to a little bit of a space. I would put the Knicks above them. I would put Cleveland above them, and then to me, I think they're right in that space. That's for me the teams that I like, that I think are in the same zone of the Lakers between the 6 and 7. Now again, some of these teams are going to underperform. Some of these teams are going to overperform. There hasn't been a game played yet. We're still talking about Luka looks great, but we still need to. There was also an energy attitude change that needed to be improved, and I believe that him being in better condition will help it. LeBron James is 42 years old, right? DeAndre Ayton, he is in a prove it year. Marcus Smart. There's still a lot in the Lakers that are like, hey, there's some unknown. It's not like they're in Denver where they're coming off, where Jokic has been one of the most consistent players for the last XYZ years. Shea has been one of the most consistent players for XYZ years. That's just me. Luka has put up consistent numbers. I'm not talking about the numbers. I'm saying that there are still things within the Lakers organization that are a lot of prove-its.
Yeah, but you could say that about the Knicks and the Cavs.
Agreed. So when I look at all the prove-its, I might go with the team that's a little bit on the younger side.
The Knicks over the Lakers.
All I'm saying is this, right? Evan Mobley still has to prove it.
Agreed.
Donovan Mitchell still has to prove it. Darius Garland still has to prove it. But you could go on the Lakers roster and say LeBron James, four-time
He proved it. He's proved it.
Four-time NBA champion. Luka Doncic took a team to the NBA Finals. He's played on that stage. Marcus Smart has played on that stage. DeAndre Ayton has played on that stage. What's the guy that shaved his head? I can't think of his name right. Gabe Vincent has played on that stage. They have a lot of guys that know when they put their mind to it what it takes and that are proven.
Hey,
Ronnie is half of LeBron.
Wait, and don't sleep don't sleep on Golden State. Don't sleep on Golden State.
I'm not.
We're gonna get to them.
That's where I'm just saying there's so much unknown when you start a season without Dame Lillard, when you start a season without Jason Tatum, when you start a season without Kyrie Irving, when you start a season without Tyrese Halliburton, everything is shifted. Every single thing. Like we talk about Atlanta. Would it be surprise anybody if Atlanta had a top 2 record at the end of the regular season in the
Hawks
East,
didn't thank
especially? Yeah.
Pat Bev for that.
No, but in general, I'm just saying though. Look at what they've done with their lineup. If they're healthy, they could be one of those teams that ends up with 55 wins.
All right, we'll move on to the Golden State Warriors. But first, JJ admitted ChatGPT is his friend. He spends 1.5 hours talking to it. What kind of questions do you think he asks?
Well, what is?
How do I come across as a human? How do I?
This is why I had to ask the question.
How do I make friends? How do I make people like me more?
Can somebody explain what is that?
It's an AI assistant that will give you confirmation on anything you need. Tell me I'm good looking. These are the things that JJ asks. Tell me you like my mustache. Tell me you appreciate how hard I've been working. You've been working so hard, Jonathan.
Wait, is his name Jonathan? Question. Do you think that JJ's too smart for his own good?
Yes, but I think he's learning that being dumber is better. No, not better. He's learning the value in being dumber. Right? No, he's learning the value. No, because you can be so smart, but if you can't get your point across, eventually you start to feel frustrated and like, am I crazy? And it's like, no, sometimes you can simplify things and you are smarter. Some of the smartest people in the world are the ones that have the ability to simplify complicated things. It's not just how smart you are. Can you simplify something that's complicated? And I think that's something that JJ's getting better at.
Well, I think he still is JJ. The great thing about it is that he has balance, right? He has people around him that he respect, because if JJ don't respect your knowledge of the game, then there's no reason for you to even talk to him. So,
you better go start talking to ChatGPT, figuring out how to.
But what I'm saying, yeah, so that's why I gotta praise and give and acknowledge his coaching staff, a Nate McMillan, a Scott Brooks, that could say, nah, and JJ is gonna listen to them. You know what I'm saying? But look, it's gonna be scary. Because again, I always say it's 2 wars. It's the ones that are on the floor battling between the lines, and then it's the ones that are on the sideline. JJ proved to me that he's going to be a hell of a coach, and that he is a hell of a coach. I don't know. I mean, it's not been, throwing shade on nobody and no shit like that. But JJ, I don't know if it's another coach out there that outworks JJ Redick. I don't.
I will say this in JJ's defense. Even when we were calling games together, right? He was breaking down film. I'm like, where are you getting these clips? Like he's got like access to the websites and all these things, and you're just like, are you okay, man? He like gets excited. He's like, dude, I broke down all fourth quarter pick and rolls of the Lakers wins. He was doing this when he was broadcasting. So he's locked in.
Perk, thank you for reminding me that there are still normal humans in the world, and that you had to ask what ChatGPT was. I don't have it, but I've heard of it. But the fact that you had not, that made my day.
ChatGPT, tell me I can be happy. Tell me basketball doesn't define me. ChatGPT.
Tell me I could grow hair one day.
ChatGPT, tell us how to handle Channing Frye.
Right, facts.
Facts. Right. We love you, Channing. All right, moving on. The Golden State Warriors. Kuminga finally signed his deal, 2 years, $48.5 million, with a team option. But the deal is specifically designed so they can either trade him mid-January or rip it up and renegotiate next summer. Obviously, all of this coming shortly after or during media day. So I want you to take a listen to what Steph Curry had to say.
When his agent comes out and says, if we get the contract we want, we'll be committed to doing everything we can to win a championship. What is your reaction to something like that and the idea of like conditional commitment?
I only listen to my teammate. I don't listen to agents or anybody who was speaking on behalf. Like, I hear that from JK.
What have you heard from JK?
Yeah, he'll be committed when he gets here. I just know from man to man, he doesn't want to have to be in the way of anything. So let that situation play out. He can speak for himself.
That's what you call fucking leadership. That's what you call leadership. That's what you call leadership right there. When you're walking into training camp and the only thing that is on your mind as the franchise guy is Mr. Golden State is winning the championship, that's leadership. That's nipping shit in the bud right there and setting the tone. We're not hearing from nobody else. With all due respect, we don't want to hear from your agent, your mama, your brothers, your sisters, your grandma. We don't want to hear from none of them motherfuckers. What we talk about is in this locker room, and who communicates is the players in this locker room. So me and JK, we have an understanding. I've spoken with JK. We're good. I don't care about what his agent and nobody else is doing. We're good. That's a guy that is on a mission to try to win a championship. The Warriors are all in. I believe that. They spoke on it. They're telling the world, hey, this is our last run. They understand the importance of what they need to do, the camaraderie, the training camp, the leadership, the non-distractions. And by the way, the Golden State Warriors, the front office, they understand it. That's why Jonathan Kuminga ain't showing to media today. Fuck that. Hey, let's figure this contract shit out. Okay, we'll figure it out. Will we have to trade you by January or we could renegotiate? We need you here. We need you here.
So it was like normal, simple NBA math, where if he would have taken the 1-year deal, that's the qualifying offer.
Mm-hmm.
He wanted 1 year with the player option at the $25 million. I'm making up the number at the $25 million. And they're like, well, if we're going to give you $25 million, we want a team option. And he was like, no, I want the player option. And they're like, well, that option is called a qualifying offer. If you want the qualifying offer, you can take that and go be unrestricted. But we're not going to pay you $25 million to then go be unrestricted. The rules are in place. So where they came up with, it sounds like a medium is, if this isn't where you want to be, we can trade you halfway through the year. And so it just felt like all of the song and dance and all of the stuff for the last few months, they met in the most obvious of meeting places. Wait, really quick, Perk. He's saying he wanted a player option after the year. And if you want a player option, then you take $7 million, not 25. That I'm just saying it was really basic. So I'm glad that they got it done. It felt like all of this energy could have been avoided.
No, but they needed it, RJ.
What?
They needed this energy. You know what I'm saying? They
didn't need any Kuminga's energy.
Yeah.
I'm talking about Kuminga's energy.
Yeah, you needed that energy because he needed to feel loved and feel wanted.
Yeah, agree.
Okay, and again, they needed to come to some type of common ground. You know what I mean? And it's more so, I bet you Steve Kerr gonna have his ass in the rotation. I know that much. I bet you he's gonna be in the rotation. See, all this stuff plays a part. When we go back and we look to the Rocket series, when we were on here discussing this, and he was out of the lineup, right, in the play-in tournament. He's not in the rotation. A young fella is thinking about all that. This is a guy that you drafted with one of your lottery picks 3 or 4 years ago, who has somewhat developed in your system, who has shown flashes of being a pretty damn good player. And with his athleticism, now you can bring him in. Hey, here you go. We done met at common grounds. We need that athleticism. Because we got a bunch of senior citizens over here. We need you, dog. Especially in the loaded wet. We need you, big fella.
Well, wait. But also, there are more times than not, and I'll end on this. You come on here very, very often talking about how much they need Kuminga. I want you to also start watching the things and talking about what Kuminga can improve on. Because I think that I want you to talk more about what Kuminga, because there are some things when Steph is playing and Kuminga goes into prove it mode when you've got Steph Curry on the floor. There are times that he needs to improve on that, where the ball sticks in an offense that is a motion offense. There are things that he needs to continue to improve on. And so if you've got to pick one primary scorer, that's an area in which, in my opinion, Kuminga was trying to prove for a contract in an area in which the Warriors were trying to win. So there wasn't this happy balance. So now that money's situated, he's got to show that he knows how to maximize on top of it. Yes, when Steph Curry went out and Kuminga could just go hoop and the ball can stick, he looks great. But that's not the confines in which he needs to play with Steph.
But he was trying to
Especially
get
when
his money.
he's trying to what?
He was trying to get his money.
Agreed.
Especially
agreed.
when you have Steph Curry, guys, who has said he's still in his prime and playing at an elite level. He was just voted as the best American player in the NBA, according to a survey by 20 coaches and executives, scouts as well. I do want to also add this layer to all of this. The Warriors also just signed his brother, Seth Curry. First time ever the two of them will play alongside one another. Seth at 35. Do you think that that was a win now move for the Warriors when you're thinking of guys who are trying to prove it, when possibly thinking of the future for the Warriors? You also have their best player who still feels like he's in his prime and playing at an elite level. Or was that a legacy gift move kind of for Steph?
No,
This not a Giannis. What's his name? Thanasis. It's not one of them situations. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Seth is going to bring something to the table.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Spacing, and when he's on the floor, you can't leave him open. You can't leave him open. Can't leave him open. So that's the and Al Horford. Even then, Al is the stretch 4-5 with him and Draymond. You don't want them to have to depend on Al for all 82 and a postseason run. But if Al can give you. He was splitting time a lot with Porzingis. When Porzingis was healthy, he would play less. Porzingis was banged up, he would play more. They would kind of do that. They would give different opportunities. I just don't want them to lean too heavily because I think Al could be huge for them in the postseason. Mm-hmm. Huge.
Seth, guys, last year played 68 games, shot 46%.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Imagine Steph running in circles with his brother standing there, and you can't leave him either.
What a nightmare. All right, moving on. We're going to Australia because guess who's there?
Cool.
JaVale.
All the Pelicans.
And Zion, his transformation. He looks like a different human, which shout out to you. Soft pivot. Perk, you really look like a different human. This is my ADD kicking in. You look great.
Appreciate it. I've been working.
ChatGPT told me to tell you that. I'm just kidding. My own eyes. You look great. Why are you questioning that, Rich?
I didn't say anything. I just didn't. Normally the camera adds 10 to 200 pounds. So.
Shall we check out the video of Zion's?
Please.
I guess Rich has been living under a rock. He hasn't seen it.
Please, let me see.
This is his media photo from last year and his media photo from today. How are we feeling about Zion Williamson's new look?
I know Ozempic when I see it.
Ooh. Oh, my God.
I know Ozempic when I see it. I do.
Wow.
I do. I saw Serena Williams at the Super Bowl this year, and I said Serena looked different. She came out with one of them GLPs. Shout out to Serena. Shout out to Alexis. Alexis are good people. I know Ozempic when I see it. I don't even need these glasses for Ozempic. I can spot Ozempic without these. And I'm not going to say it's Ozempic because I don't want no defamation suits. I'm just going to say I know Ozempic when I see it.
And I know a bullshit take when I see it. See, real talk. See, that's the shit that got to stop, man. You know what I'm saying? You want to sit up here because you want a hot take, because you want to be funny. You know Ozempic when you see it. No, this Ozempic right here when you see it. A person who doesn't play the game of basketball no more.
Is he allowed to? Are you allowed to do Ozempic if you're a player?
I don't think so, bro. Not unless it's probably prescribed, unless you have diabetes or something to that nature. But here's the problem that I have. I'm glad we ran that clip because it's a perfect example. We've been tearing Zion down, right? And rightfully so. Accountability has to be there. He's done a lot, right? I was one of them. I said that the Pelicans, but the thing that he did that we have to applaud, not only is he in physical shape, he has a different mentality now. He's in a better place mentally. He cleaned house with all the people who was in charge and doing all. He cleaned that out. You know what I'm saying? He's represented by Bill Duffy. Bill Duffy, if you know anything about Bill Duffy, one of the best agents to ever do it, who's going to hold his guys accountable, who's going to tell them the real, tell them the truth. Okay, now you got Joe Dumars, you got Troy Weaver in there, right, in the front office. And I'm going to tell you, see, Troy Weaver is that type because Troy Weaver, it was the reason that I got traded to Oklahoma City, right? Troy Weaver was one of those guys that recruited me when he was at Syracuse during the time I was coming up through high school. So he had he had something for me. You know what I'm saying? Him and Sam Presti, when they made the trade for me. Now, I used to smoke a pack of Black and Miles a day when I was playing, okay? I used to smoke, real talk. Hey, Richard, you know what I'm saying? Allie, I'm opening up here. I used to smoke a pack of Black and Miles every day. You know what I'm saying? And Troy Weaver called me in his office. When I got there, he said, big fella, listen, that ain't it. That ain't it. I need you to cut that out. I need you to get your shit together. Put down the Black and Miles. We getting all the complaints from you because you smoking in your hotel rooms. Get your stuff together. We need you. We're trying to win something here. So I'm bringing that up because Troy Weaver's going to have that type of connection and that type of conversation with Zion that Zion need. See, Zion didn't trust nobody in that organization last year. And no shots at Griff. I like Griff as a person, David Griffin. I like him as a person, but it's just a different type of voice that's around that organization that Zion need, along with the relationship of Bill Duffy. I'm happy. I'm excited to see Zion, and I'm proud of the hard work for him to come back in shape. Should he have been out of shape? No, but he was. He took accountability, and he looks phenomenal right now.
I echo what Perk says about being proud of Zion. I'm proud of any player that wants to maximize his potential. Mm-hmm. I think too oftentimes we were wanting it more for Zion. I think there were people pleading with him. Like, I'm sorry, I don't think you're being overly critical when you're like, hey, we've lived this game. We've seen players from top to bottom, from high school, college, pros. It's like you have a special ability, but there's also a certain level of maintenance that you're going to have to maximize that ability. And it'll be very visible, as with a guy like Luka, if you are not maximizing it. It doesn't mean that you're not good. It doesn't mean when you step on the court, you're not averaging 25. Doesn't mean that Luka's not all NBA. Doesn't mean that he's not a future Hall of Famer. But every basketball player, if your body fat for your body type is 10% and you're playing at 16%, you're not the best. You're not the best. You're not the best version of yourself. And we can see it in your performance. Yeah. That's where the criticism comes, because it's like, that's changing your diet. That's this, there's these. And it's like, look, everybody has something different. Certain players can eat Allen Iverson or those Kerry Kittles. Those guys can eat anything that they want, but they couldn't build muscle to save their lives. There are some guys that can build muscle, but they got to make sure that they don't get too big, too strong, because they got to stay quick. We all got to make sacrifices within our body types. And so we can see when someone's not doing that. And that's all it was. And it was leading to injuries. It was leading to underperformance. There was off the court issues. So I'm proud of him that he's trying to be the best version of himself, because you can physically see it.
And I think from a big picture scope, the question still does remain. And it's something that, as we were starting this podcast, a prove it mentality that still is with him because of his track record. In terms of when I asked the question, does it feel different this time?
Oh, he's on the clock. He's on the fucking clock. Make no mistake about it. Now, we can give him all the credit in the world, but this year he's going to have to show up and show out and show that he actually wants to be the face and they could trust him to be the face of this organization. Or I believe that they're going to actually do it this time and move on from him if things don't work out. Because it's time. Like, it's only so many chances you could give a guy. All right, here you go. We got you a new group in here. We got, all right.
Because they put talented players in there. They put talent in New Orleans. They had Brandon Ingram, CJ McCollum, DeJounte Murray.
Trey Murphy.
They were putting talent in. There's talent, there was talent there. So it wasn't like he was in a spot where he was playing by himself and their team wasn't, it's like, no. He had some young horses in there. Maybe probably should have needed a couple more veterans, but it wasn't like there was a lack of talent in New Orleans for these last 3 years at all.
Can you win with him as your best player?
Well, win a
championship.
Well, no, wait. We haven't seen him play in the postseason, like in the championship. This was one of the things. Go back to when they lost in the in-season tournament. He looked heavy, right? Now, this is a guy that's playing, 35 minutes a night. He loses all that weight by the end of the season, right? Mm-hmm. But then he got hurt in the postseason. And the reason why, humbly, is for a lot of athletes, and I won't say him, I won't point at him, I'll say athletes. If you're already working to the damn near red zone during the season, and now you try and lose 20 pounds in the season, and you're playing, that means you're having to do extra, you're pushing your body into the red. And then you get a soft tissue injury at the end of the season because you've been pushing your body instead of taking care of your body, being in a good, consistent shape throughout the season. Now, when you want to push it to the red, that's because of your performance, not because he had no extra juice. That's when the soft tissue injuries, when you do all of those things to try and get back,
And it's crazy. It's crazy because as a guy that went through it, I remember it was me and Big Baby. We got in Boston. We had to weigh in every fucking week, right? We had to weigh in body fat test. And you have to do so much, meaning when you're trying to play catch up through the regular season. So that means nighttime at the practice facility getting 30 minutes on the elliptical, right? It means getting there early because you got to do that damn Versa climber, you know what I'm saying? That'll wear your ass out before you go on the floor.
Moving on. Career crossroads. Trae versus Ja plus a little Pat Bev. So let's start there. For those of you who haven't been caught up on the Trae and Pat Bev, go do your due diligence and look at the videos. It's too long for us to explain right here. I'm going to give you a little synopsis, but this is where we're going, okay? Trae Young had a full social media warfare with Pat Bev. Pat Bev said on his podcast, again, please go listen to it, that Trae's former teammates, quote, don't think he's a good leader and he hasn't, quote, won enough to speak to me. Trae then clapped back with a 12-minute video roasting Beverley for, quote, standing on the scorer's table, acting like it's a championship after winning a play-in game and other things obviously discussed. I just want to know what you guys think of, first of all, this debate as it happened.
Go ahead, Perk.
Well, one, I think the shots that they took at each other and Pat Bev started it was way below the fucking belt. All right, it was way below the belt. That was beyond just being petty. This is the way that those two were going at each other is yeah, we see each other, it's on sight. It's certain people that that you don't fuck with that is hey man, it's when I see you, dog, I ain't gonna instigate, but if you give me a look or it could be up there, right? I think this one of those situations was up there and it's stuck there. And we've all heard the rumors behind the scenes. I've heard them about Trae Young. I just don't know that it's facts, right? You hear so many rumors about, oh, yeah, Trae, he's hard to deal with. He got this coach. I've never had a problem with Trae Young, right? Personally, I never had a problem with Trae Young. Anytime I done reached out to Trae Young to talk about a situation, to get his insight on what he feeling, how he feel about, he's always been responsive. No one has ever came to me personally and said, I don't like that motherfucker, or I can't stand playing in the organization. It's always somebody that somebody heard this that then came deliver the message to me. It's nobody, I've never heard nobody come tell me that,
Well, yeah. Well, this is what I would say.
What?
No, this is what I'm saying. Look, if Kendrick and Drake want to get into it, you know what I'm saying, we're gonna stay out of it, right? I'm gonna stay out of it. But this is the part that I'm both of them want to talk trash. It don't matter who it is. If they want to go at each other, there's some truth, there's some false, there's some made up, there's some opinion based. That's between them. I'd never played with either of them, right? But I can see the trash out. But this is also Pat Bev. This is what he does. He thrives on this. It's the Draymond energy. This is what they enjoy doing. And so, like, for Pat Bev, just like on the basketball court, the minute you're giving me energy and reacting to me, I won. It don't matter if you're Kevin Durant and I'm trying to guard you and I'm up in you. Like, it don't matter. Once I got you interacting with me, I won. So from that standpoint, it's like, look, Trae had a lot of success early. The dude is a bad man. You start to look at his total numbers, there's not many people that's ever done it. And he's continuing to improve. You go look at the talent that they put around him. They're going in with Trae. So
Let's go there. Best roster he's ever had?
Yes, by far.
By far.
By far. Most complete roster.
Is the pressure on him or the organization?
The pressure is on him.
I wouldn't even say organization. I think Atlanta rarely goes in. So I would say it is on Trae, but you can't say, everyone's got to play well. I think there was a bunch of criticism of Trae's defense. His defense was improved last year. He doesn't have to be a great defender, but it was much improved. So the organization, not so much. On Trae, it's like, hey, you got these players, but if they go and, lose in the second round in 6 or 7 games, that's a good season for them.
Let's stick along the who
I
has
think
more
he's real quick. I think Trae is auditioning because they haven't reached the agreement for as a contract extension. They're saying, here, Trae, we're surrounding you with the pieces that you need. I'm very high on the young man, let me say young man, not kid, Jalen Johnson. So you have the pieces. Here you go. The Eastern Conference is wide open, right? Outside of Cleveland and the Knicks, the Hawks should be right there.
Yeah.
Right? So here you are. We got you with athleticism, guys who defend. We got you shooting. We got you a scorer off the bench who just did well. And now the young man Alexander from Minnesota. Here we go, Trae. What can you take us?
Yeah.
We're going to take it one step further along the lines of who has more to prove this season. I feel like this one might be kind of fun when it comes to Trae and Ja. Ja obviously entering this season after multiple injuries last year, 26, 27 years old respectively. Who do you feel has more to prove this year?
It's Ja. It's Ja. Like, come on, dog. Like, 2-3 years ago, you were like, we were having a conversation about you being the next face of the NBA. Like, and this is some real shit. ESPN went down to Memphis for a week and did an all access Not just because of Jaren Jackson, not because of Jaren Jackson Jr. and no, because of Ja Morant. And now it's time for you to, one, win some of your fans back. I'm one of them because he used to be my favorite player. That is now Anthony Edwards and Big Body Brunson at times. But now, also, hey, bro, can you carry this organization? No one is expecting a damn thing from the Memphis Grizzlies, but Ja could change that narrative, right? And, there's speculations out there. Is Memphis going to give him $200, $250, or $300 million? Here go the stage. Is he ready to dance?
I think the pressure is on Memphis, excuse me. Like, you're right. He gets his own shoe. That shoe's about to blow up. He's putting on highlight after highlight, getting to an MVP level conversation. We all know that that's there. They were supposed to be the Oklahoma City. We thought they were going to be Oklahoma City. We thought he was going to be Shea. We thought the young guns, right? When he says he was good in the West, even though everybody was like, oh, okay, you got to live up to it. But nobody was like he was tripping. Nobody thought he was tripping when he said that.
Yeah.
We were just like, oh, you got to back it up. But we was excited to watch it. Now they're not as much of a story as they should be given the talent that Ja Morant has. And so some players stay in this zone. They stay in this zone. And then some players go back up to that zone and prove that they are that dude. And that's done on the biggest stage, and that's what we're waiting to see.
It's a handful of players. It's a handful of players that should envy SGA. Donovan Mitchell, Anthony Edwards, Ja Morant, Luka Doncic, and we will even throw Devin Booker in that conversation. Because SGA showed you that I'm going to not only lead the league in scoring at 6'6", I'm going to be a leader. I'm going to win the MVP. I'm going to go win the NBA championship, and I'm going to win the finals MVP. All of those guys should be jealous and should want what he just accomplished last season. And jealous in a good way. I ain't saying they should. No, like, you should want that. And it's okay. That should make you work harder. That should make you get in the lab. You heard what Anthony Edwards said on Media Day? He said, I want to score a whole lot of points. I want to win the MVP, and I want to win the championship. Yeah, I know you do.
That workouts are boring. Great players will tell you that the behind the scenes work is boring. I just needed to clarify that I wasn't saying Anthony Edwards was boring. He said he did a lot of boring work.
Yeah, that's what it's the invisible work, the work that nobody sees. I'm telling you.
And he took your advice, Richard. He worked on the low block.
Well, because that's the, like, from the angle, and one thing that I heard Kyrie talk about when he was referencing Kobe, that it's Kobe learned from MJ. It's like the game is on an angle, and when you're at certain angles, it's harder for teams to come and double team you. So, but once you're on those angles, if you master 3-4 shots, you've mastered those 3-4 shots. If they come, the play is simple. Right? When you're standing at the top of the key and 5 defenders are looking back up at you, there's not a lot of angles. Yeah. That's where great players go there. You see Bron, he prefers the post up in the postseason. He tries to wait as long as possible. So that was a logical space. So I'm glad he's doing it just because he's dominated. He's hit all the threes. He's got all the buckets. That's hard to do. Just even Steph doesn't do it that way. Steph doesn't just stand at the top of the key and have 5 defenders. He's moving around causing chaos. So he's got all of the stuff. It's just a matter of whether or not they can get it done.
Look at these current players giving Richard Jefferson love. You're saying that Anthony Edwards took Rich's advice. You have Dylan Brooks in Phoenix when asked on Media Day who and what former NBA players underappreciated. Dylan Brooks said Richard Jefferson.
No, he did not.
Yes, he did. You got to go look at that clip from the Suns. It's hilarious.
Look at RJ getting some love.
I don't know if he was telling the truth,
He's
but it was
throwing
funny.
shots.
Huh?
He's throwing
No.
shots.
Nah, everybody's not fucking petty like you, bro.
No, Dylan.
Touche.
Shout out, man. Listen, man, we do our role.
We should have you on Road Trippin.
Yeah.
Having said that, we got 2 more quick topics. This one, though, we're going to cross over to the WNBA. You guys have obviously been in tuned. I'm sure you've been watching the playoffs last night, an exciting one, obviously, to go to the finals between the Aces and the Fever. But Napheesa Collier, whoa, did she torch WNBA leadership? I want to obviously give you a chance to listen to this clip in this video from her at her exit interviews, coming with receipts.
I'm sure that they will find me. I mean, it seems like anything with free speech is fine now, so. Her response was, well, only the losers complain about the refs. We go to battle every day to protect a shield that doesn't value us. We have the best players in the world. We have the best fans in the world. But right now, we have the worst leadership in the world. The real threat to our league isn't money, it isn't ratings, or even missed calls. It's the lack of accountability from the league office. Her response was, Caitlin should be grateful she makes $16 million off the court, because without the platform that the WNBA gives her, she wouldn't make anything. And in that same conversation, she told me, players should be on their knees thanking their lucky stars for the media rights deal that I got them. It's an insult to my intelligence, honestly. Any support group you go to, acceptance is the first stage. To also not care about the product we put on the floor is truly self-sabotage. I mean, you said it. Nothing ever seems to change. Year after year, the only thing that remains consistent is the lack of accountability from our leaders. That is negligence. Year after year, we talk about how amazing the fans are, how incredible their support in us has been, and they never waver in that. So I would just say thank you for making it so special to play here. Sorry we couldn't get it done, but I hope that you guys know that we gave it our all and that we had an amazing time doing it.
I will note, Collier is the VP of the Players Union, and she is also the co-founder of the Competing Unrivaled League, which began last year. What's been kind of your guys' thoughts and takeaway from all of this in terms of what?
Don't fuck with them women. Do not fuck with them women. Listen, they are not afraid. They go speak their mind. They go speak the truth. And I was just listening and I'm saying to myself, holy shit. Like, no filter. Yeah, I'm looking right at whomever into the camera. I am talking to you. And I'm standing on this. I'm standing on this by myself. And I mean, she's right. I just think, here's my thing, right? And let me be careful about this. Because, you know what I'm saying? I didn't have certain people and organizations attack me before. I want to make this very, very clear. I want the WNBA, all the players to get everything and more. They deserve it. They compete at a high level. They never come out, they never disappoint when it comes down to their product. I just think and I believe that patience is everything, right? Patience is everything when it comes to certain situations. And I've seen growth in certain areas for the WNBA. You know what I'm saying? I've seen growth in certain areas. Now, could it be more? Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm not defending nobody whatsoever. I'm telling you this now. Give them everything they deserve. I'm just saying some of us just don't have patience. And obviously they done ran out of patience. And it seems somewhere behind these closed doors in these rooms, because let me say this, a person don't just get to this point where they come out publicly like this. It's something some type of promises or something behind closed doors that was made to these women that's out there competing, and something just haven't been held to what stood on business.
Big Perk. When we say it's not promises, it's more of they're in a negotiation, right? I wouldn't put this like a Daryl Morey situation.
Right? Okay, right.
I don't think it's that. I think it's more of like, you say being patient, right? The NBA players, we've gone through multiple rounds. We've gone through lockouts before. I went through a lockout, Perk. You went through a lockout, I believe. Mm-hmm. And so We understand these things. And from what I've learned, even from watching the early lockouts when I was a kid, and that Michael Jordan, that era, around then was in '99 and the lockout. Where I was starting as a freshman in college, hoping to go to the NBA, so we're paying attention to it. I think the more civil these things are, the better they go. I think you can complain about leadership, which is fair. It's as fair. But just like Roger Goodell does not work for the players, he works for the owners. She works for the owners. Their commissioner works for the owners, right? Like that's just the truth. So if she's there trying to negotiate the best deal for the owners, she's echoing that voice. Now no different. Adam Silver is a players. They call him a players commissioner, right? But he works for the owners. Roger Goodell works for the owners. So that's the framework that we got to understand. So when they're back and forth negotiating, it's no different than the GM versus the agent, right? The GM works for the team. The agent works for the players. There's going to be heated arguments and conversations that go on. How do you think Luka's agent is working with Dallas right now? How do you think AD's agent is looking at the Lakers right now? Right?
Who, Rich Paul?
Yeah, but I'm doing it in a very
I'm joking.
I know. I'm doing it in a broad space to sum it up here. Is that these things are going to get contentious. This is part of negotiation, right? Women are fighting for more within their collective bargaining agreement. Men have fought for more in their collective bargaining agreement, right? So we are all fighting for a bigger piece of the pie from the owners, and they just got to remember, collectively stay together, right? Use these things as tools, but understand that if you can keep fighting back, maybe take a shorter deal, maybe do something, you're going to get a huge increase from what you were before. And you guys fighting for this and putting a better product out there has led to a huge pay increase. But you're probably not going to get it all from the billionaires. They don't work that way. If you're like, we believe that we at level 10, we're going to get level 10. They don't work that way. That's not how they accumulated their wealth. If you're at a level 4 and they're saying, we're going to give you a level, maybe get to a level 7, maybe 7.5, but you're not going to get 10 out of 10 of what you want. Billionaires don't work that way. That's across all sports leagues. I'm not just pointing to the WNBA. The men had to do it. There's been baseball lockouts. We've seen a lot of this. Billionaires and these people, you got to find a happy medium. And I know that that's what both sides are trying to do.
I was going to say, and it's far from over. There's plenty to keep an eye on. Obviously, Napheesa got a ton of love from her teammates, even Tyrese Halliburton, who's scored the W with the Fever, weighed in yesterday. Sources saying that it's likely that Kathy will exit the WNBA after the CBA with all of this, but you've got Unrivaled coming back, running it back for another year. And then the WNBA finals, they start on Friday between the Aces and the Mercury. So keep an eye out. All right, we're going to finish with something fun. This is lighthearted. It is fun. There is a bigger topic here. Anthony Davis has to wear goggles moving forward. That because he had this issue with his detached retina that he's been dealing with. He announced it at Media Day, so he will be wearing goggles. But before we get into that, actually, we're not going to.
Glasses or goggles?
They're glasses. Best goggle wearer in NBA history.
Oh.
Easy. Easy now.
Cream, easy.
Kareem, D-Wade was up there.
Big Game James looked really good in his goggles.
Yeah, look, Big Game James, he knows. He looked great. Big Game looked great. I think Kurt Rambis had the glasses. He had the Clark Kent glasses on.
Yeah.
Right? They were, look.
There's
glasses.
AD. That's what he's rocking.
Yeah.
So they got a little round to them. They're not like Oakleys.
They've come a long way, is what you're saying. Rich, do you remember when you did that on Snapchat?
I had no idea. I was a complete behind.
You forgot about that?
But I remember it now. But if you would have asked me about it, like it was. I was literally paparazzi in the locker room. So it was like I recorded so much absurd. I recorded Bron driving his Kia, right? I was like, oh, Bron does drive a Kia. Oh wow.
Was everyone laughing at that?
I found it funny. I like most things. I found it funny.
Braun looked like he was playing volleyball, beach volleyball with you.
There's nothing wrong with that. That would have been sick. They should let him do it.
It's
A
okay.
lot.
So
Okay.
What, Perk?
I do got one thing. I miss y'all. One thing before we go. Do we realize that training camp started and Russell Westbrook is not on the roster?
I'd like to believe that that's by choice. He's waiting for the right opportunity or the
I
one.
believe that's not by choice. Now, let me say this. This very situation, this moment right here that we're in, Russell Westbrook not being on the roster, is what hurt me and Russell Westbrook personal relationship. Because on sometime 3-4 years ago, when he was on the Lakers roster, okay, and reports came back to me from general managers around the league, and I said it on television, that, hey, man, Russ got to be careful now. The rumor is word around the league is that if he don't be careful, temper it down, he might find himself out the league. Okay? This is what I said. After that, I get a long paragraph from his wife, Nina. She reads me her rights, or thought she did. I thought you would never turn your back. After that, our relationship was over with, right? Because then my wife get involved. They go back and forth because I ain't doing nothing but doing my job. And I'm not killing Russ, right? I'm not killing them. These are reports. But here we are, right? At this very moment where Russ opted out of his last year with Denver, right? He opted out. He had a player option. The only team that had interest from reports is Sacramento. And here we are starting the season, and Russell Westbrook is not on the roster. Do I believe he should be? Absolutely. I think he should be on the Milwaukee Bucks right now. I really do. But the reality is that for the first time in probably the last 15 years, Russell Westbrook is not on a roster. Crazy.
Rich?
All right, I'm with Perk. I think it's weird because you wonder the information that allows him to opt out, right? He's Russell Westbrook. He's getting a couple dollars. Denver's a good situation. They like that balance of off the bench. You know, he was impactful for them this season. I think Russ is. I think you look at Carmelo. You know, Carmelo was out for a short time and then he came back and there was a different energy with Carmelo. Hall of Famer, also great player. But he found himself out the league and then he came back up in Portland. Portland ultimately ended up here in LA. So, you know, I think Russ should be on a team. I think it's impactful. I think we always see adjustments for great players as they transition. And it's counterintuitive because their confidence is what allowed them to be a great player. But now they've got to kind of navigate that in a different role. So, you know, and that can be tough. It can be tough for family, friends. I'll never forget, it was year 12 and my back was messed up. I was playing with Golden State and I was out of the rotation. And literally Eric, Allie knows him, my buddies from high school came out to watch a game. They've watched me play basketball since we were in 6th grade. I'm 28 years old. And he goes, I don't think I've ever watched you play basketball and not play in the game. And I'm like, yeah, it's taking a little getting used to over here, right? Because I'd never been in that role in my entire life. I'd always played, always from high school, college to this and that. It was first until I was, 32 years old when I was the first time ever out of a rotation. And that takes getting used to. It's a mental mind fuck.
Oh, it's hard to the motherfucker.
Yeah, it's a mental mind. And so, players then you start to realize what's important to you, if it's how you want to go out or you enjoy playing the game of basketball, and you'll do whatever it takes and you kind of change your mindset. And we've seen it with other great players before. So I believe Russell will be on a roster very, very soon.
I love the insight from both, and great point there, Perk. If you are communicating with us in the chat, let us know where you think Russell Westbrook will end up. Perk thinks Milwaukee. Rich says it's a roster. Maybe Channing will be back to discuss it with us next week. We miss him. For Allie, for Perk, for Rich. It's another edition of Road Trippin'.